What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. Brittany Renner is known as a modern woman. And I believe when you talk about the term modern women, it's a woman or women who feel like they don't need to be feminine. These women require a lot more from what they're willing to give. These women are much more open about their sexual achievements, if you will. All of those things would, in my honest opinion, embody modern women, and then also embracing single motherhood as an achievement. Okay? And if you want to talk about those things, Brittany Renner is definitely the spokesperson for that sort of behavior. Again, very, very sexual, very open about talking about her sexuality, having a certain level of unaccountability, although she has been taking it as of late. And the reason why I'm saying that is because Brittany Renner is always using the term, I know my worth. I know my worth, right? This is going to be very important when we're talking about this. Now, recently she was on a TikTok video in which she was being interviewed by some guy. I want to play the clip and then I'm going to come back.
What is your confession?
Meeting somebody and then having them the first time you meet them.
Sensational.
What is your body count?
32.
Jesus Christ.
I have a list on my phone and I have all their signs next to it. Yeah.
Am I your type?
Are you my type? Yeah.
I'm your type?
Yeah.
Oh, say less.
So we have seen that clip, and then after seeing what happened, admitting to some of the things she's done, I want to also look at the Shade Room interview that she gave a few months ago, and then we're going to go ahead and dissect that.
Speaking of your value, you recently talked about very openly and candidly, very transparent, you said something to the effect of you hate how you allowed men to use you.
Yeah.
So one, what exactly do you mean by use? And two, what brought you to that realization?
Use meaning use my body as a masturbation tool. And what brought me to that point was, there's actually a few things, but it's kind of like really taking a step back and getting to know men, having conversations with them, seeing what they're capable of, right? Like even just a consistent good morning text is asking a lot these days.
Yeah.
You realize how much they're just not that into you, right? And when you subtract sex and any sexual talk from the equation, you really see a lot of guys have no desire to know how your day is, your favorite color, what do you plan on doing this today? What do you want to eat, you know?
Right.
So I think for me, seeing that, I realized that I did allow a lot of men to use me because I never made them get to know me, never made them court me, nothing. It was just first night, a little bit of alcohol, maybe not alcohol, maybe I just felt like it. I just did not understand my value. It's not their fault. I'm not here to be, I'm such a victim. No, I didn't understand my value and they were just mirroring back that lack of knowing.
Yeah.
I can't blame them for taking advantage. It was like I marked myself for clearance.
At what point did you understand your value?
Probably October.
So guys, all of this is very interesting, and I want to tell you why. Brittany Renner keeps talking about, I know my worth. Now, she kept saying it, I let these guys do this, I know my worth. And then when you see her, hey, she gives the guy her phone number after admitting that she's done this on that clip. And it's obvious to see that Brittany Renner's worth is delusional. Because in order for somebody to value you and you know what your worth is, you need to be able to produce that for somebody else. For an example, if I am on YouTube, I'm a YouTuber, and I say I know my worth, I have to have proof or evidence of what I can do as a creator. And that is pretty much backed up with numbers. Now in relationships, it's a little bit more ambiguous, but at least for a woman, you know your worth. What do you do for a man that enhances his life? That's what we're talking about here. What do you do for a man that enhances his life or makes his life easier? And when you look at Brittany Renner, she doesn't have any evidence of that. Now, if we want to talk about, you know your worth as a human or in humanity, I believe that is much different. Because yeah, all right, you're a human. You have worth as a human being. But talking about being worth something to a guy that you want to be with, it would have to be a reason why they were treating you like that. And it had nothing to do with you didn't know your worth. It's just that they didn't feel you were worth what you thought you were. And by looking at that clip, clearly, I'm just gonna be honest, Brittany Renner comes off as a young lady that's malleable for the streets, easy, doesn't require a whole lot of investment in, could be the truth, but somebody that just has a lot of problems. And as a man, you can't really deal with her like that. And the things you can deal with her tend to be things that are indicative of having fun. You know what I mean? That is what she feels is worth something that's long term. But if that was the case, you wouldn't have been almost 30 or in your late 20s or 24 or 25 going to University of Kentucky games. You wouldn't be dealing with PJ Washington because all of the other guys you've dealt with that would have been of age don't want you. Now, let me get on to this whole thing of the body count of 32. That does seem high for a woman. I would probably bet that number is not that. If you know what I mean, I bet that number is not that. I bet that number is actually more. Okay? It's probably more. But now, let me get back to the whole thing of the modern women thing, right? Modern women, listen up if you're out there, because men understand this. When we say we deserve an 8, 9, or 10, hey, you better be able to do something. You better have some money. You better not have no baby mama issues. You better not be bringing nobody here, nobody there. All of those things you got to prove that you can do. And the more you keep talking to these chicks, man, the more you find out. And this is one of the reasons why I think a lot of men are just really not tripping off the dating market, because they're not really getting a lot from a lot of people who say they know their worth. There's only one way to prove what you're worth: to the people you're saying you know your worth to. You gotta have value from them. No value from them means that you don't have the worth that you feel you should have in the dating market. That's why the dating market has prices. You can't price gouge your way into the dating market. That's why they have, like I said, prices. People who get married have a higher price. People who have a certain amount of looks have a lot of price. But there are certain things you gotta do to qualify to have that in a dating market. And looking good is just not all of them. I'm sorry, it's not. Being beautiful will not get you off in the dating market. It will get you there. But for a guy who has a lot of opportunity, it just will not. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I really appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. We're out.